Hello, Sir Josh. Anyone?
Yes, J.
Yes, Sir Josh. I think we will start right now. So it's 1:17 p.m. and we do have 11 participants as of now. So let me first introduce myself. My name is Gerald John Alforque. I'm one of the training specialists for the ICT Visayas Cluster 2. And with me is Mr. Joshua Elizar Domen. So right now, let's start with the prayer. So we do have some difficulties here for our end. So let me just start with a prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, we thank you for this afternoon, for the participants who joined with us today in this Google for Teachers webinar. We thank you for our speaker, Sir Joshua Domen, the facilitators, and we thank you for this day that we will gain new things, new knowledge, so that we will be equipped, so that we could use this in our jobs, especially as educators. And we hope and pray, Lord God, that you will enlighten us and lead us in this webinar. This we ask in Jesus' mighty name. I pray. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Sir Joshua, the screen is yours.
Yes, hello. Thank you, J. And good afternoon, everyone. Maupay nga kulop. Tama ba? I hope um, I am correct on how I greet you. I believe we have most of our participants um, coming from and I want to check which where we are located right now. Maybe you can include in our chat panel where you are located right now. We already have one from um, San Juan, Southern Leyte. So are you speaking Bisaya ba in Southern Leyte? I think there are areas in Southern Leyte speaking Bisaya, sir. So we also have from Tacloban City, okay, maupay nga kulop. Northern Samar. Oh, we also have from Biliran. Okay, so good afternoon and I welcome you all. You are our batch 2 for our day 1. So earlier this morning, we already had the batch 1 and most of them are coming from region 7. So for this afternoon, most of you are coming from region 8. Okay, so let me share my screen. I hope everyone can see my screen share being shared right now. Sige, so um, okay, we have affirmative answer. So let me first start off by introducing myself. I will be your trainer for the next 2 days, while our facilitators are we have Gerald and Rudina, who are also on the background. They are with us. So if you have some technical needs, if you have some questions, you may direct your questions to our facilitators. But as regards the training itself, then you can ask me. So my name is Joshua Elizardomen, and I am the ICT Industry Development Bureau Coordinator for the ICT Visayas Cluster 2 to become a Google Certified Educator. Um, I believe this training will help you know if in case if you have heard of the Google Certified Educator exam, then this training, the next 2 days training will be of help to you, most especially because the coverage will be about the topics that we will be discussing. But anyways, I will share to you maybe at the end of our training for day one on how you can actually take the exam and be certified by Google as well. So apart from that, I also have a YouTube channel, and that's Tech Talks with Pambansang IT Guy. So from there, I have some tech tutorials for you. I also shared there how I became a Google Certified Level 1 Educator, and there's also some recordings of trainings and tutorials that I uploaded there. So maybe once we are done with our training, maybe I can upload it there if I am permitted to. If in case you want to review some of the topics that we'll be discussing this afternoon. Okay, so apart from that, I'm also an educator just like you are. Currently, I am a part-time university instructor in my alma mater, which is in St. Paul University, Dumaguete. So I am from Dumaguete. So I also do online classes right now. And so I can relate to you if we have here teachers who are teaching online or trainers training online, then hindi kayo nag-iisa. I am also um, a teacher myself, and I uh, do online classes, and I also make use of the Google applications and Google tools that I will be discussing. So the core of our training for today and tomorrow are all based from experiences as how I navigate and maneuver the Google products. Okay. Um, so let us now begin with our training. Um, First, let me tell you the objectives of our training. So what do we want to achieve at the end of our session? So first, to learn what the Google Workspace is, what the tools are under Google Workspace, and how can they be used in education, or do they have a role in the kind of education that we have now, especially the new normal one? Can they be of help as teachers, as educators? How can we make use of the Google Workspace in our teaching strategies and methodologies? Now, for day one, we will also learn how to use Google Docs and differentiate it from other word processors or word processing applications. So I know that most of us have been using Microsoft Word, di ba? Under the Microsoft Office na package. So we will compare Google Docs with Microsoft Word, and we will contrast what their similarities are and what their differences are, so that we are guided with how we can use and manage each application effectively and more efficiently. Then also another objective for day one is to learn how to use Google Slides and differentiate it from other slideshow presentation applications. So I know for sure that you have been using Microsoft PowerPoint since time immemorial, but how about Google Slides? Have we tried navigating and using the interface of Google Slides, and how is Google Slides be more of an advantage as compared to the usual Microsoft PowerPoint that we always use? So these are our objectives for day one, because tomorrow, on day two, it will be about Google Forms and Google Sheets. Okay? Now, for you to obtain your certificate for this training and for these sessions, please be reminded of the following requirements. First is the attendance. I believe Gerald has already shared the attendance link for this afternoon, and there is also another attendance for tomorrow for day two. So please make sure that you have submitted well and properly our attendance for our training for each day, because that is a passport for you to receive your certificate. Another is your participation in Google Docs activity for day one, that is today. So later on, we will be having an activity um, using Google Docs. So your participation is of importance, because without you participating in the activity, then you might not be able to receive your certificate. So that is, of course, part of our assessment if you have learned something from our training. Another requirement is another Google Slides activity, that is activity 2. That is after the first activity. So it will still be today on day 1. So again, you have to participate, and we have to validate, no? Our facilitators will validate if you really have participated in the activity. And then finally, um, tomorrow on day 2, we will have an assessment quiz to check how well you have understood and how well you have learned our sessions throughout the 2 days training. So it will include topics covering Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Forms, and Google Sheets. So that will be tomorrow. All right. I hope that is clear. Do we have some questions early on in our training at this time, so that we can address them as early as now? You can actually comment or chat in our chat panel your questions or clarifications or concerns. Um, I think there's none. The attendance has been sent again to our chat panel. Okay, I think there is none, so maybe we can proceed so that we can make use of the time as we go along with our training this afternoon. So first, I will introduce what Google Workspace is, because all those that we will be using and hovering on for the next 2 days are actually part of the Google Workspace. Okay, so it is important that we understand what the Google Workspace is. So formerly known as G Suite, the Google Workspace is a collection of cloud computing, productivity, and collaboration tools, software and products developed and marketed by Google. So actually just a month ago or 2 months ago, October 2020, we know it as G Suite, no? We've known of these applications as part of the G Suite, but just this October 2020, it has been rebranded and is now known as the Google Workspace. Now, it was first launched in 2006 as Google Apps for your domain, and then it was rebranded as G Suite in 2016. So Google Workspace consists of Gmail, contacts, calendar, Meet, and chat for communication, and There's also Currents, no? Google Currents for employee engagement. Then we have the powerful Google Drive and the Google Docs suite for content creation. So you, I hope everyone has his or her own Google account, no? You can log it in now because it will be part of our exercises later that to log into your Google accounts for easier navigation like later. So I hope you can log it in now so that by the time that we'll be having our exercise later, there is no need for us to log in na para automatic na. So once you so it is safe to assume and it is synonymous no that once you have your own Google account, you also have your own Google Drive. So um, you have your own storage no as a Google account user, and allow me to share mine ha. So say for example, this is my um, Google Drive, and this is actually an account under the GovMail, or since I am working in the ICT, we were also privileged to have our own Google account, and we have our own Google Drive. Our storage is 30 gigabytes maximum. But I believe if we have DepEd teachers here, you are lucky enough because you have G Suite for Education, which entitles you to have an unlimited storage capacity. So you're very fortunate and you are very lucky to have unleashed storage, no? Because in my case, I just deleted recently, no? Because it was almost full, so I deleted some um, repeating na files. So that's why I was able to free up some storage, but usually ang 30 gigabytes kulang pa, no? This also shows how Google also is safe and secure, no? Because our government is safe and secure, no? Because our government has transitioned and migrated to using the Google services as our platform and our tool to our in working in government transactions. Okay, so yeah, this is our Google Drive, and once you have your own Google account, it also means that you have your own Google Drive. And I think for personal, there is 15 gigabytes ba? I'm not sure, but you have your own size or storage. Okay. So we also have other Google Workspace na um, applications, of course. So let me just a rundown. We have, of course, Gmail. You have your own Google account. It also means that you have your own Gmail na account. And did you know that there are over 1 billion active users, no, of um, of Gmail worldwide? That data was taken in February 2016. So imagine in this in this pandemic how many availed of Google services. So um, there are really a lot of users of Gmail. And if you could also imagine no, ang mga servers that Google has to accommodate and address the needs of their customers. Then we also have Google Forms that is part of the Google Workspace, and that will be the coverage of our topic tomorrow, one of the topics tomorrow. So I hope we still see each other tomorrow because I'd like to share how I use Google Forms as a quiz tool, no, for my classes, since I also have online classes for my students. So I make use of Google Forms for our quiz, for our midterms exams, and for our finals. So that will be tomorrow. Then we also have Google Sites as part of the Google Workspace, and If you want to develop na and create your own websites, then perhaps you have options of hard coding it, diba? If you have some techie people here, you can hard code or program your web. Then you can make use of other CMS or content management system applications or tools, just like um, WordPress or Joomla or Drupal, diba? You can make use of such to develop websites. But Google has introduced their own site creation tool, and that is Google Sites. So it is easy to navigate and use, but it serves basic functions. So if you want to publish some websites, then you can make use of Google Sites. Then also we have Google Calendar, no? Of course, to help keep track of your time and schedule, and usually Google Calendar is also embedded in your Gmail, so that if you have some event invitation, or you have some schedule of a specific activity receiving in your email or in your inbox, then you can automatically um, add that in your calendar. So that makes it easier for Google users to schedule your events and activities. And you also have Google Chat. So as of now, Google Chat is known as Hangouts, but um, by the end of December 2020, so actually one of these days, Google or Hangouts will be changed into Google Chat already. So Google Chat is a communication software built for teams, no, and for members of the same organization to provide direct messages and team chat rooms. Okay. Um, for you, of course, to exchange your communications and your conversations easily. And Google Chat is also embedded na in the Gmail. There is a portion there or a part there that has the Google Chat, wherein you can easily chat your questions directly to your team members. Then we have Google Meet as part of the Google Workspace, the one we are using right now, the one where you are logged into right now. So this is the video conferencing application brought by Google under the Workspace. And the interface of Google now is practically easy as compared to other applications na naghatag og video conferencing na platform. So some video conferencing applications are quite confusing and may not be user friendly. But in Google Meet, it's easy, no? You are given the link, and then you just have to click on that link, and um, you have to enter with the settings of your webcam and your audio. Then immediately you can join. Diba? As compared to others, you have to enter a password, diba, for you to join. So in Google Meet, it's easy. In Gmeet, it's easy for you to join at telecon or meetings. We also have Google Currents. So Google Currents is actually for employees, no? It lets team members engage and communicate at a deeper level. So there are some Google accounts that have no Google Currents, especially if it is a personal na Google account, no? But Google Currents are available in Enterprise Google. So if there are, it is an additional feature for those mga premium na accounts for Google. Then we also have Google Keep. If we have sticky notes sa Microsoft na OS, no, or operating system, or sa Windows na operating system, then we have sticky notes. But if you are in the Google na platform, or in the Google ecosystem, then there is Google Keeps for you to track of your notes and your to-do lists, diba? That is also actually in your Gmail. It is on the right hand side, ang Keeps for you to if you have some notes to keep. Then we also have Jamboard. So Jamboard, not all, just like Google Currents, not all Google accounts have Jamboard. G Suite for Education account, I think, has Jamboard. So this Jamboard is serves actually just like a whiteboard or a blackboard or green board, no? Wherein if you have something to illustrate and you could not illustrate it by ordinary text along, you want to illustrate by doodles and everything else, then you can make use of Jamboard. So, and the Jamboard is or can be viewed by your audience. So, that can also help you know as educators. Now, in the Google Workspace, um, the education edition, because there is a version or an education edition no for Google Workspace, and it is there is actually a learning platform embedded or included in such. They retained the name G Suite for Education. No? That is why we still have members here of the G Suite for Education platform under Google. You have unlimited storage, and you have additional features like Google Classroom. So although there was a change this October 2020 no, of the name to Google Workspace, um, Google decided to still retain the name G Suite for Education for this avenue for education. Okay, so I hope that clears things up. What are what are the tools and applications of Google Workspace, and for today and tomorrow we will be discussing four Google Workspace tools and applications. For today, we will be discussing Google Docs and Google Slides. And for tomorrow, we'll be discussing um, Google Forms and Google Sheets. And these tools are actually very helpful as you go with your teaching profession, as you go with your work. So I'm not sure. I think there was a policy already wherein face-to-face classes are already allowed, no? By next year man siguro by January, but but chances are there will still be schools and there will still be institutions who will still embrace the online, the new normal kind of learning, no? And so it is not too late to learn this because who knows, um, we'll still be using this not just in 2021 but maybe in the future there will be more time for us to make use of these Google Workspace applications. And also if you want to be certified by Google, just like me, just like the recent certification that I have, it is important that you participate and take note of our discussions because the discussions that we will be tackling for the next 2 days are also the very same discussions and topics that will come out as part of the coverage of the Google Certified Educator exams. So if you're interested to becoming certified by Google as an educator, then it is important that you understand these applications and these platforms provided by Google. Okay, so now we will go first to our first application we have this afternoon, and that is Google Docs. But before we begin, I want to check your level of understanding. No, I want to know how you know Google Docs before we proceed to our training per se, because I want to know the level and also the language of how I will communicate to you. Okay, so please go to menti.com in your browser, no, in your Google Chrome. Please go to www.menti or menti.com, and then you will be asked for a code. Please please um, put in the code that you see on the screen, that is 2743385, and then there is a question that will be asked for to you, And so this is actually a poll, a real-time poll. Do not worry, this is an anonymous poll. We will not know who answered. So the question is, how well do you know Google Docs? So we have options here like I only know it by name. I just heard of it as Google Docs, but I've never tried. I know how to create one. So if you ask me to create a Google Docs, you can count on me. I can do one. I can start, but I cannot finish. Perhaps I was able to create one Google Docs, but I do not know how to maneuver or hover anymore. What should I do next? How do I type in a document? How do I include images? So you can answer that. Or perhaps you are already an expert. I know the secrets. I know the tips. I can be a Google certified educator already once you throw me to take the exam. So I am an expert. So please do answer. Do not worry. That is an anonymous poll. We will not know your name on what you answered. And then please answer honestly because I want to know the level on how I will address and cater this training. Because perhaps maybe most of you are already experts of this. So I will skip discussing the basics because you're already expert. Then I will go to the advanced level. But if not, then we will stick to the baseline, which is the basics. So I have already 7 answers here, but I believe we have 20 um 20 participants joining in minus the 4 facilitators, 4 accounts of the facilitator. So we have around 15 to 16. So we already have 8 answers now. I can see it live in the bottom right of the screen. So how about the others? May I know your answers? Sige, keep them coming. Keep your answers coming.
Sir, what is the code, please?
Yes, sorry. Please go to menti.com and then there is a code there that will be asked and please key in 2743385. I will wait for your answers. Go ahead, do not lie. You will be on an anonymous polling. So we already have 10. We are waiting for 5 or 6 more participants. So how well do you know Google Docs? If you will be asked to create a Google Docs right now, how will you respond to it? So the code is there on the screen. I am displaying it right now. It is on the top right now. If you can see our screen. I'll give you 1 more minute to answer. Wala na? No more answers? I believe there are 20 people here. But we only received 10? Only half of you answered? Asa na ang iba? Okay, we have 11. Only 11 out of the 15 or 16 joining? Okay. One more minute, sige, extension. Perhaps others are struggling. So by the way, we have activities and exercises for today. So I hope you have with you your devices for you to fulfill the training. Code, please. The code is seen on the screen. Miss Maria Yasmin. I'm sharing it if you can see, and it is highlighted on the upper right now. And I've also shared the code in our chat panel. So sige, I'll be sharing it again, although it is already shown and displayed in the screen. All right, we have received 13 already. Sige. Thank you. Sige, I think this is okay. This is already enough for us to quantify and qualify. So there are 6 of you who answered that you only know it by name. Okay. Then we also have 5 of you who answered that you know how to create one. All right. And then we also have 3 of you answering I can start, but I cannot finish. Okay. That is um, that is highly accepted. And there is none who answered I am an expert. All right. Yan, may humabol. So equal na ang ating first and second choices. All right. It is good to know that there is no expert here, because if you already are an expert, then this training might not be for you, for the reason that this training is for the basics. Perhaps some of you already know you already know Google Docs, but you need some refresher or you need some tips and guides. No? So okay, you are very much welcome here. But if you're already an expert and you are already a Google certified educator, then um, this might not be the good training, no, for you, because we will be tackling about the basics, but you're already in the advanced level na. So okay, thank you very much for answering, class. I sorry, I call you class now because I also call my students in my online class as class. But sige. Um, Let me give you a briefer of Google Docs. So Google Docs is a word processor included as part of a free web-based Google Docs suite offered by Google within its Google Drive service. So if you have your Google, if you are an a Google account user already, that also means that you have your own Google Drive with your storage capacity. And so that also means that you can make use um, of Google Docs, because that is already available for you or to you as a user um, of the Google Drive. So Google Docs is available as a web application. So if you're using desktop or laptop, then you can access and use Google Docs. Although it is also available as a mobile app for Android devices, for iOS, Windows, and BlackBerry phones, no, or smartphones, you can still access Google Docs because there is a mobile version for such. Although there might be differences in the interface, no, because in the mobile, of course, you'll be using your hands and fingers to navigate, while in the web version, you'll be using the keyboard and the mouse. So there is some slight differences, but the functionalities are the same. Um, the app, Google Docs, is compatible to all Microsoft Office file formats. That is why when you upload, no, in your Google Drive some Microsoft Word formats like .doc or .docx, that will be that is still rendered by Google Docs. and you can upload your Microsoft Word documents and it can be converted into a Google Docs na document. So the application allows users to create, view, and edit files online while collaborating with other users in real time. So something synonymous with Google Docs and actually all other Google applications or Workspace applications is that um, it is collaborative with other users. You can, if you are a team working on one document, if you are you are a teacher giving a student exercise, no, your class an exercise, and you want it to be worked on as a group, then you can give them a Google Docs link for you and them to simultaneously access, and there is real-time edits and updates of the document. So one can see what the edits are as it is being updated live. Or perhaps you are teachers, no, belonging to the same subject area for a school. Perhaps you are Filipino teachers, no, of a certain school. Your one member is a Filipino teacher for grade 1, another is for grade 2, and the supervisor or your principal asks you to create a document intended for Filipino subjects, and you have to work as a team. Then you can make use of Google Docs, no, to create your documents or to edit documents, especially say for example that in the experience we are having right now in this pandemic, um, work from home is advised, is encouraged, and you don't have to leave the comforts of your homes and face the invisible enemy, no, of taking risks of the pandemic. So or perhaps it is weekends, no, and you're not asked to report to your office or to your school, and you have to create a document together simultaneously. So as long as you're connected to the internet, there is no need for you to physically work together. So you can make use of Google Docs as your document, as reference for you to create and manage your documents that you will be making. So that's one good thing about Google Docs. Now, also in Google Docs, edits are tracked by a user with a revision history presenting changes. So, say for example, si Filipino teacher number 2 accidentally or even incidentally, no, deleted some parts, perhaps the second paragraph of your first page, and you there's no problem for you, no, to be pressured, because there is a feature in Google Docs wherein you can retain previous version histories of your document. So kahit na ma-delete ni ma'am, no, ang paragraph by accident, there is a feature for you to retain the version. Okay? 'Di ba? If you do this siguro in Microsoft Word, um, number one, there is no live or real-time, no, na editing, not unless you are an Office 365 na account holder, although mostly some of you are not, or some of the account members are not. And so you have to log in there, and then if not, if you're not Office 365, chances are you save it as a document, no, and then you upload it and send it to your recipient, and from there the recipient will edit, no, your document, and once he or she is done, he or she will save it again and then return it to you, and then you still have to merge the edits. You will still take note what are the updates, and then you have to merge with your existing document the changes, as compared to Google Docs, no? Once you edit something, it is translated as live, and even your other members can see what you are editing and what you are doing as changes in your document, and then you can Then edits are also tracked, diba? So there is a feature for revision history. If you want to retain the edits you made a couple of minutes back, then you can retain such. So there is no um, you have less worries in the revisions of your documents. Also, there are some documents now, Microsoft Word documents that get corrupted. Um, inanuhan lang ng USB flash drive, tapos yung palang flash drive may virus. So chances are you have to redo again if you don't have a backup copy of your document, then you have to redo. So imagine the pain, the effort, and the time for you to redo such. Um, another advantage of Google Docs is, say for example, si teacher, no? Si teacher number one, he or she is asked to present um, a document, no, in a conference in, say for example, in Baguio City. So he or she used Microsoft Word to create a document and saved it in a USB flash drive or into a CD ba. And once he or she went to Baguio City and it was her time for him or her um, to provide the presentation, to show the document, what happened is that the USB flash drive got corrupted, and he or she is not bringing his or her laptop, no, for him or her to recover some files. So that's something that you will really worry on. But if you save it as a Google Docs, no, a document, you have less worries, because as long as there is internet connection, you can access that. So even si ma'am na pumunta ng Baguio City, kahit na maiwan niya ang USB flash drive, masira man, God forbid, makorrupt, he or she still has a backup copy of such um, through the Google Drive with your Google Docs na document. So that's one really good thing about the Google Docs. Now, there is a permission system that regulates what users can do. If you are sharing the link to someone as an editor, then the recipient can edit your contents. If you want naman that users can just view your your documents without them editing or putting some changes or modifications, then um, you can do so by having them as viewers only na permission system. So they can also there is also another permission wherein commenting is allowed. Although aside from viewing, no, they can comment on certain parts. Then that can also be done. Later on, I will show to you how this can be done. There is an update introducing features using machine learning. So actually, there is a button now in Google Docs and in other Google applications, no, Workspace applications, wherein there is an embedded AI. So if there are some contents you have in your documents that need further researching, the Explore button in your Google Docs will be helpful. It will come in handy in helping you navigate your documents. So there are also action items. No, you can do action items at the right hand side. Later on, I will tell you wherein you can assign tasks to specific persons. No, you just have to mention their name, and then they will be notified through email that there is an action item that needs to be resolved, and it will only be resolved if the user will provide edits or will confirm in the action item that such changes have been made. So yeah. Now I will introduce to you how um, how you create a Google Docs na document. So we go to our Google Drive. So this is my Google Drive, as you see, and one way for you to create your Google Docs document is, of course, this one. Itong new na button, no? Under the Drive na icon. And then, as easy as there is a drop down that will appear, and you just have to create Google Docs document, and you can choose from starting from scratch, like a blank document, or from a template, because Google Docs also has a wide offers of templates that you can edit on. But the same, no, the same with other workspace applications. You can start with from scratch, or you can begin from a template. So for our training, we'll start from scratch, no? So by the way, make sure that for you, no, for you not to have problems in locating your files, make sure that you know where you created your document. So if I create a new one here, so this document will also appear in this my root folder in my Google Drive. So this is my root folder, no, in my drive. But if you create another folder class, say for example, new I'm uploading. Um, if you create a new folder, say for example, um, my first Google Docs na folder, no? So say for example, you created na your folder, and this is where you will be creating your Google Docs na document. So um, that also means that such document class will appear here, or will be located here. It will not be in the root folder na my drive, but it will specifically go to the My First Google Docs folder that you just created. But nevertheless, class, if in case that you could really not locate your file, no, your Google Docs document, say for example, you remember that it is here, we have the very powerful search bar of Google Drive, no? There is actually an AI, or artificial intelligence involved in this search bar. This is very much powerful. Say for example, no, you will type in a word, no, just even this in the search bar. If you could notice, these are actually the file names, no? These are the file names of my files. But if you would notice, there is no word this in any of these search results. The reason for this is that the contents inside these documents that I have here that yielded as results have contents that have the text this. So it's not only the file name that will result in our search, but rather also the content. So say for example, this word has this Google Docs na document has the word this, and this Google Forms na document has the word this inside. So that is why you can't see any this na word in the file names, but rather inside the contents. Okay? So once you create the Google Docs na document, this is your interface. This is already your Google Docs interface. As you can see, it is more likely, no, similar with a Microsoft Word. There are also ribbons or tabs. So how do you rename your document, no? Um, so you so by default, the document is entitled document, but from this part here, you can actually rename your document. So as easy as that. Diba? In Microsoft Word, you still have to save as, or perhaps you go to the Explorer and then you right click on it and rename. But here in Google Docs, you can automatically and instantly rename your document. So say for example, my first activity. So once you rename it in such a way, then it is renamed. that easily. So um, there is no need for you here in Google Docs. There is no need for you to press or hit Control S, no, if you are saving something, because as a cloud-based application, Google Docs and other actually workspace applications of Google automatically saves without you hitting Control plus S, because in the first place, um, workspace applications do not have a save as or save no na function, di ba? Usually in Microsoft Word you see that in the file na tab, but here wala siya. There is no save as here because automatically it is saved. So you will know that it is saving here in this area or in this side. Okay? And if you see a cloud and a check here, that means that all changes have been saved. Okay? So um, Google Docs has basic no functions just like what you see in Microsoft Word. This has the toolbar, but let me give you some rundown. If you want to share this, there is the share menu, sub menu under the file menu. Although we have here the button in the right hand side no to easily share. So you can share your document. You just have to include an email address. Then they will be prompted with an email, a message wherein you are sharing this document to them. Or you can share the link. No, in our case, since um, we are members of the DACT na domain, by default we can only share to our members of the domain, but we can change it, no? We can change such by, of course, clicking anyone with the link. So um, if you choose this, you will share this document to anyone in the internet, even if he or she is not a Google Accounts user, for as long as he is connected to the internet and he or she can access this link, then he can access and also see your document. Now, you must choose now what is his or her or their role. If you give them this link, are they only viewers, which means that they could not do anything in your document. It is only as good as they can only view your document as it is. They can only view your contents as it is. Or perhaps you can choose them as a commenter wherein aside from viewing, they can also comment, no? They could not edit, they cannot do any modifications, but they can comment. They can, in the right-hand side, they can provide comments or suggestions or any feedback in texts. But once you give them the editor rights, they have the same um, access that you have. So if you can edit, they can also edit. So they can also comment. They can do modifications. Okay. Now I will give you some pro tip, no, because as you see, the link for your Google Docs is very long and it's very lengthy and it's not pleasing to the eyes, correct? No. So say for example, kana siya masyadong mataas, no, or masyadong mahaba, you have to just copy the complete link, no? And then, I will share it to you. You can go here, no, sa tiny.cc, and you can just paste immediately the link. This is the link that we copied in the clipboard, and then you can customize and you can choose what how you want it to appear, no, to your recipients, the link. So say for example, day 1, batch 2, diba? You just have to shorten it, and there is a session read error because this might have been taken already, no? Then we can actually change this to something that is not common, perhaps G Workspace, day one. Let's try again. So it still does not. Let me paste again. Mm-hmm. Um, Let me refresh my tiny CC because that might have affected um B1, B2, um 12, 17, 20, 20. So it has been successful, no? What you nominated in the customized um part is will also be the same link you can share, and you just have to copy, no, this duplicate na icon. You just have to copy that, and then you can feel free to share the link. Say for example, I'll be pasting it in our comment, no? So um the one in the chat panel is already the final link. Although the URL has been changed or has been shortened, um, it will still um, it will still go to the same link to the same Google Docs na document, just for aesthetics purposes, no? Or in some cases, no, there are some IP configurations that do not read such link, no? You can try bit.ly instead. The interface might be a lot different, but it still yields to creating your customized link. So you can paste it here and then you create. Okay, so by the way, in our tiny CC, it is case sensitive, no? Meaning to say, if there is specific capital or lowercase letters, then um, your recipient must also type in, or they must also key in the exact letter casing. So if you want naman, no, your, say for example, your students, you want your students get impressed of you, ay si sir or si ma'am, very techy because he or she is using a QR code, no? Because uso na ang QR code ngayon, even in contact tracing. Once you go to the malls, we have QR codes. So if you want to generate a QR code for the same link, for the same document, then here in tiny.cc, you can click this one, the third icon, and then it now produced the QR code. So your students can scan this QR code with their mobile phones with a QR scanner. Then um, it will go, or it will yield to the same link, to the same Google document that you shared. Okay, so that's a pro tip. So you can also make use of the share, no, na icon. You can share it through Facebook and in other social media applications. So yun, that's a pro tip. And then, so do not forget, no, to create done if you are sharing your document, or else it will not be accessed, or it cannot be accessed by anyone else. So easily, you can create a new document, a new other applications, no, by this new na submenu under the file. So you can also open, you can make a copy. Say for example, you want to duplicate this document, you can make a copy for such. You can directly email. You can email directly this document to your recipients. You can also download this, no? You can save this as a Microsoft Word document, and in also other formats. So once you click on this, then a downloading dialog box will appear. that will be saved locally to your laptop na or to your PC. So in making available offline, actually you can do so. You can make your Google Docs available offline, only that you have to install an extension, no, for you to make it available offline. And also it still requires connection because your changes will not be updated once you edit it offline, not unless you connect to the internet after. Okay, so basically, um, being connected to the internet is still important even if you make it available offline. So this part here is the one I'm saying, no, na version history. Like if you did some modifications, if na-delete ni ma'am accidentally, and you want to have a repeat, no, of the older version of the file, you can do such here. So you can also rename it here. Also although easily you can do that here. The name itself. So you can choose the language. By default, this is English United States, although you can choose other languages, no? Especially if for spelling errors or for grammar check, no? Spell checks or grammar check for other languages, then you can use these languages. Then in page setup, you can change the orientation. Is it landscape or portrait? You can change the size. 8.5 by 11 ba or A4 ba, or is it long size na 8.5 by 13 or 14? And then you can also automatically print here. So in edit na menu, yung the same din, the same that we have in Microsoft Word, no? But also the shortcuts are accepted even if you don't go here, Control Z, Control Y, Control X, Control C, Control V. Also those are also accepted here sa Google Docs. We have some view modes. Are you doing it for editing lang, or are you suggesting, or are you just there for viewing? So you can change the modes. Okay, you can also show the rulers. So here in the insert, you can insert your multimedia, your image, and everything else. You can create a chart, equations also, no? If you are a math teacher, perhaps you can make use of the equations. So yeah, basically, no, um, all that you can do in Microsoft Word can also be done in Google Docs. Only that there are some features or some functions that are not available. So I think, di ba, we have some paragraph na formatting in Microsoft Word, but in Google Docs it is not available. Okay? So now I will be giving to you some of the differences and similarities of Google Docs versus Microsoft Word, because of course Microsoft Word, di ba, since time immemorial, you've been using this, and so share their differences and similarities, at least to give a contrast, no? So in terms of functionality, the winner is still Microsoft Word. Since ang sa Google Docs, no, basic lang, it does not have the intense features and functionality that Microsoft Word offers. So Google Docs is good for basics, but you can do more or less the basics or the fundamentals, no, of creating a document, although you cannot format it that much, no, as compared sa Word, wherein you can change the shadow of text and everything else. So basic lang sa Google Docs. And in terms of collaboration naman, of course, Google Docs is the clear winner, 'di ba? Because um, So of course, because it is intended for collaborative na sharing. So although in Microsoft Word, no, let me share my let me share my Microsoft Word na document. So you can actually also do such, no, you can share your document um, by using this button, the one you see on the top right, no, just below or underneath the X or close button. You can do so, you can share your document, but you have to save it to the cloud and you have to be an Office 365 subscriber. So if you will be sharing this to anyone that is not an Office 365 user, then chances are you can not collaborate with them. As compared lang sa Google Docs, no, na it's very easy for you to share as long as you have the link, regardless nga if they are a Google accounts user, if they are using Yahoo, for as long as they have the link, they can actually access such. Then in terms of cloud and syncing, of course, the winner here is Google Docs. Um, of course, Google Docs is intended for the cloud. Of course, it is embedded in the Google Drive, which is a cloud based file storage, no. And if you want to sync in Word, as what I have mentioned, you have to be an Office 365 na na subscriber, and also your recipients. Now, for offline access, of course, the winner here is Microsoft Word, diba? Because it is intended for you regardless if you are connected to the internet or not. You can use Microsoft Word. So in terms din naman sa formatting, we can say that the winner here is Microsoft Word, of course. There are some restrictions sa formats, no, sa Google Docs. It is not much as intense, although there are formatting. You can change formatting, but it is not the same as it is in Microsoft Word. Okay. In terms of availability, of course, the winner here is Google Docs. For the reason that, number one, Google Docs is free. Diba? It is free. It is free to create your Google account, and it also means that you're entitled to the services and applications Google offers. Um, in Microsoft Word and other Microsoft Office na applications, you have to um, you have to pay for the license. So after installing, no, you still prior pa nga, you have to install using an installer. If it is not factorily installed, no, or perhaps kung galing format ang laptop mo, then you have to reinstall your Microsoft Word, and you have to key in a license key for such. So it also means payment, no? It also means you have to dole out money um, for you to make use of um, your office products. And diba, there are how do you call this? Parang limited lang. I think there is a prompt on top, no, of Office in Word or in PowerPoint that you have to this Office is not licensed. Then there are some features na hindi available, so you have to you have to license your software. Diba? Ang iba, they will resort to crack versions of your Office applications. But chances are you will still be detected by Microsoft, especially if you connect to the internet and you do some Windows updates, no, that can lead you to being caught by Microsoft na your version is cracked and it's illegal. So that's it. So in terms of availability, Google Docs and other Google Workspace applications, they come free. There's no need for you to install a software. You can use any device. You can use a laptop, regardless of the OS, if it is Windows or if it is Mac OS. If you're Apple users, you can access Google Docs, Google Slides, all these workspace applications. Okay, so that's it for my overview of Google Docs. We shall now have your activities. So for the next 30 minutes, you will be working on your activity. Okay. So let me locate first your activity. So this one, let me rename it lang. So this is for your batch. There is instruction here. This is the interface, no, the Google Docs document that we will be or you will be working on simultaneously. Tayong lahat na members of this class or of this training. Number one, you have to choose a row where you will give an opinion to the question being asked, and you have to write your corresponding name in the second column. So there is a question here that is asked, and you have to say your opinion. Do you agree or do you not agree? What are your sentiments? So you have to choose a row here. So make sure that there is no cursor or there is no user, no. If you will notice na if there is a cursor with different colors active in that area, that means that there is a user editing such portion. So once you see that there is already a user in that row, then skip that row and proceed to the next row. Okay? Then you have to give your opinion and you have to write in your name, of course, in the corresponding row, in the name column. Then you can feel free to edit the formatting of your inputs in your opinion and in your name. You can change the font size, the font color, etc. The background color of your answer. You can be as creative as you can be. And then once you have already changed the format, select an opinion from your classmate, no, and provide a comment. So say for example, this is my answer, no, but please make your answers longer. How do you comment on such? You have to highlight, no, the text or the area, and then as you can see in this right hand side, may lumalabas na parang running na buttons. So you have to add comment. You have to click the first button and then you can add your comment, or you can highlight it again and go to the insert na ribbon or tab, and then you can click on the comment, insert comment, or the shortcut is Control Alt and M. So you have to give your own comment on your classmate. You can do as many comments as you want, although be sure that you have at least one comment. Okay? So make sure you have logged in your Google account, no, for your account name to be reflected in your comment. So it is normal that in the here in the opinion section, there will be anonymous names that will be popping out. But in the comment section, you will only be anonymous user if you did not log in your Google account. So if you have logged in your Google, then your name or your account will reflect here. And remember that for us to validate your answers, number one, you must have a formatted opinion, no? And number two, you have a comment. to your classmates. Okay? So I hope that is clear. I'm gonna share this now to our chat panel. So go to our chat panel to start your exercise. I hope that is clear. Anyone who seeks for clarification, maybe I have not made it clear the instructions. You can do so now. You can comment into our comment panel if you have some questions or clarifications regarding the first exercise. Wala, I'm not seeing comments or questions. Sige, so I have it is already there in the comment section. No? It's already there, class. You can go ahead. We have 20 minutes to do this activity. So, hindi lang ako magpapaplay ng music ha because I am sharing my screen and usually naghahang or nagbabug if I play a YouTube video or a song. So, kanya-kanyang pa-play na lang ng music. Okay? So, go ahead and access our link. I still seeing
Site can't, sir, parang site can't be reached.
that is the NX domain. Sige, I will copy it sa ano na lang sa it.ly. Although that is an IP configuration, no? You have to change some configurations, but I will paste it na lang sa, I will be using bit.ly. Okay? So,
Yes,
please
sir.
hold on. So you can instead change no to bit.ly. So yung ganyang concern yung DNS probe finished NX domain, actually that is IP configuration settings. So that is ano ba that is a computer specific settings no that you have to modify, although that is really techy to understand, but there are computers who can still access such. As a matter of fact, we already have someone answering our exercise as you see it live in our screen. So go ahead, you can choose the bit.ly na link that I shared. If ayaw pa rin, then I will copy the whole link. Okay, we have until 3 p.m. no to do this task. So kanya-kanyang pa-play na lang ng music O baka may gusto diyang kumanta o sumayaw, pwede din. We only have 6 editors accessing our link right now. Asa ng iba? We are 26. Nakatulog na. Nagsisiesta na ang iba. Dean, Rodina, and Gerard. Dean and Gerald, kumusta ang atong mga pakaon diha sa office? Kamu na nagkaon-kaon? Once again, class ha, you have actually 3 tasks, no? Or 2 or 3 tasks for this activity. One, you have to create or you have to type in your opinion in a certain row. Second is you have to format the text of your answer, no? You can change the size, you can change the font, you can change the color, font color, but only to your specific na answer. Okay? And then the third task is you have to comment on someone else's answer. You can comment in every answer now of your classmates, but at least one comment will do.